What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video. And today we're going to be launching something very new, very special, something that I hope that will become more of a commonality both year round as well as just on the draft channel over the next couple of months. That is talking about the USFL. Yeah, the Spring Football League. I'm very excited to do some commentary on it. So if you guys want to stick around for some more USFL content, or if you guys like the NFL draft and stuff like that, feel free to stick around, like, comment, subscribe. You know, all that fun YouTube jazz. Let's kick into it. We're going to really discuss the quarterbacks, but then we'll go over we'll look at every single pick that happened on day one. It's a 35 round draft, which is insane. Obviously, we're not going to comment on every player, but just talk about the general feel of each team. So starting off with the first overall pick, we had Shea Patterson from Michigan going to the Michigan Panthers. Obviously, he knows the area pretty well since he played there for quite a while. But, Shea Patterson, I've never been really a fan of him. And when we look at the second overall pick, I think that it's pretty obvious that this probably wasn't the best move. However, honestly, I think that given the parameters of him being in Michigan, he did transfer from Ole Miss, if not mistaken, which funnily enough, the next quarterback's from Ole Miss. He at least has some time playing there up in the worse climates. So it's a weird one. It's a tough one. I think that I gave it a B or a B plus because I just think that Jordan Teamu, of course, they have a bunch of all this crap here. Jordan Teamu, who I'm a huge fan of, going to Tampa Bay, is just a better quarterback. I've been a big fan of him ever since he was at Ole Miss. I don't know why he hasn't been able to stick to an NFL roster. I kind of think of him as like an on sale Marcus Mariota. I don't know why. But I mean, hey, he's a very good player, and I'd be very happy to see him down there in Tampa Bay. If I'm not mistaken, you guys can correct me on this. I think that Shea Patterson was from IMG Academy, so I'm sure if Jordan Ta'amu was first, he would be the second because he's used to, if I'm not mistaken, being in Florida. So, I mean, I love the Jordan Ta'amu pick. Then we go to the third overall pick. We got Brian Scott of Occidental. I've heard about this guy before, and you know what? I think that it's fun. I think that it's a little bit of a reach when you look at the rest of the guys on the board. I feel like Philadelphia wants to just have, I guess they're getting their Aaron Rodgers in one way or another. And if they can't trade for Aaron Rodgers in the NFL, they got to get it over here in the USFL. Just a guy who, I mean, again, a lot of these performers kind of came out in 2017. That's the weird thing. They're not like the AAF and those guys who are just kind of the UDFAs from the NFL's draft in the past like year or two. Like these guys are kind of coming out of their like CFL careers and stuff to be able to contribute here. But yeah, Brian Scott, I think that with the other quarterbacks on the board, I wouldn't take him. But I mean, again, I love Occidental. Funnily enough, it is actually one of my like crazy future possibilities to go back to Occidental College just to play football in D3 just for fun because I love Occidental College and they're a great school. So, I mean, you guys don't want to hear anything about that. Beautiful area, really good college, and just looks like a really fun team to play for. I think that he wouldn't be too shabby. Again, you can look at that stat line again, it is, of course, in a pro day, but 62 for 64. That is a really good stat line. And it's a lot better, in my opinion, than Brian Scott here. So Brian Scott is 5'10", if I'm not mistaken, 5'10", 200 pounds. And the one thing I don't like about him, he's wearing a knee brace, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And I'm just not like when you have a quarterback that's short and then also is wearing a knee brace, it's like, I don't know. I get a little bit of the EBGBs, and it's kind of like a bad start, in my opinion, to the New Jersey Generals. He's 26 years old, and you're looking at the next couple of quarterbacks who I think are quite a bit better. So I'm just not really a huge fan of Ben Holmes, but we'll see. I'd be very, very happy for him to prove me wrong. But now we're going to talk about Clayton Thorson to the Gamblers. I'm pretty sure I might have given it an A plus. I think Clayton Thorson is NFL backup caliber, which is almost elite grade probably in the USFL. And that is awesome. I remember when Clayton Thorson was coming out, some people had him as high as like QB5. And the guy has a lot of talent. Granted, he just never got a good chance to start in the NFL. And that's just because the level, like the barrier to entry, so to speak, of an NFL quarterback is pretty damn high. I think he actually might be the best quarterback out of this class. So pretty happy about this one. This is an A++ for me. And then we got the next pick, all these stupid ass tweets, which are pretty awesome, by the way, but just get in the way. Birmingham Stallions getting Alex Magoo. I was actually pretty happy with this one as well. I know that he's been around the NFL quite a bit, and a rip to the Fox Sports editor, but that's okay. Let's just pray for him. But I mean, Alex Magoo has been a very consistent quarterback in the NFL. Honestly, he's actually like a pretty good quarterback. So I think I might have given this one maybe a B plus or something. I think I should probably bump that up to an A. I really like Alex Magoo, and I think they'd be a great starter in this league. So I'm very excited for sure. Let's go to the next pick. And this one is Kyle Lauletta. I think I gave it a B plus. And that's just because Kyle, I mean, I used to be a huge fan of Kyle. That was actually one of the first drafts that I ever studied. And I remember seeing this guy out of Richmond. I was like, that's my favorite quarterback in this class. Of course, I had no idea what tape was back in the day. I was just a kid seeing some highlight tapes. But I mean, Kyle Lauletta at number 7, I'm pretty happy with it. It's just, I don't know how well he's going to do. That being said, still a really good pick. I feel like the only real misses are the guys who weren't NFL quality in the first place. So I feel a little bit bad about having a controversial B plus, whoop-de-doo, on Kyle Lauletta. I just don't like giving out A's too often. Then last but not least, we got Kyle Sloter here out of Northern Colorado. I actually really like this guy, and I'm pretty happy to see that he's going. He actually went at number 8, which is crazy compared to, again, I'm going to get all salty about that 5'10" quarterback, but honestly, I think this would be a really good get. And I think I gave it an A or an A plus. Like, I think that he would just be a pretty damn high floor player. And again, I'm pretty sure, yeah. So Northern Colorado, he was just a basic athlete. The guys actually played pretty well at the NFL level. Of course, it's probably like preseason and shit. But I think that for the USFL, he's certainly starter quality. Fortunately, he is 28, so I've dinked another player for being 26. But at number 8 overall, not too shabby. And I love how they had actually like all these dudes be announced by like big time players like Drew Brees. So adding some legitimacy to the USFL. Of course, round 2, we got David Bellamy here. I actually looked him up on PFF and stuff. He had like 26 pressures. He had 2 years of 20 plus pressures in a row. Obviously, he hasn't really done crap since. But hey, I honestly think that this isn't that bad of a get. For the first pick at edge, I think there were some better guys, but honestly, I probably would give that one like a B, just because again, 20 pressures year after year is a good sign, as long as he can probably bring that and revitalize it in the USFL. Now, Carlo Kemp. So I like how he's related to the Pagano family in some way, shape, or form. That's a good sign because he's been growing up with football, especially on the defensive side. So I certainly thought this was an excellent get as well. And he just came out of Michigan. So I'm going to actually grade this one to be like an A, possibly A plus. I do love that one. Birmingham Stallions got Aaron Adoye. I think his brother also got taken, if I'm not mistaken, as well. I saw a tweet on that, but I mean, he's just a freaky athlete. You guys could read it right here. Football to basketball, or basketball to football. Just one of those guys who's going to be more that explosive type player. And I honestly think Birmingham Stallions are doing a really good job this draft. So I dig it. Chris Odom to the Gamblers. I love players who've been playing the AAF and the CFL just because they're continuing to stay relevant. And again, when you have lineage of NFL talent, that's a good sign. I'd probably give that one an A minus. New Jersey Generals game, Bryson Young, almost Bryce Young. So we might have to give him an A just for that. But still, he came out in 2019. When you play at Oregon, that's just a really good place. You see even like Mac Hollins and stuff like that making an impact. So I think that's a good floor to get. So I think New Jersey Generals were one of the teams that I was getting on for drafting. I think that's a 5'10" quarterback team. And yeah, I think that's a good rebound. Philadelphia going Freedom. Oh Lord, I usually know how to pronounce names, and I'm going to turn to Broshmo in a second. Akin Moladon. That's not bad. But I don't know. We'll see. He has very recent experience in the NFL. That's something that's a very big positive. He's going to be obviously a little bit older, but I do like to see when a player switches from tight end to a different position because he probably wasn't athletic enough to remain at tight end. but he was athletic enough to be a hyper athlete at the defensive end position. So that's a big get for Philadelphia, where I was having some doubts about their first quarterback selection. Tampa Bay Bandits going Mekhi Brown out of Bama. Again, you got a 4-star prospect coming out who has training from Alabama. I dig it. This first round's actually going really well. Oh, there's the other Adoye, right? Yep. Okay, brothers got selected in the first round. So Michigan goes after Adewale, and I'm pretty sure his brother was the one who was taken in the NFL. He was not. So I don't have enough information about Adewale to actually like give you updated stats on him or anything. But going into 2018 being your last season, not too shabby. 3 fumble recoveries. I mean, it's a good contributor. I think that I'd be a little bit worried if I were the Michigan Panthers. Again, I'd be a little bit suspect about getting, like, this guy might actually be the 8th worst edge rusher taken so far. So we'll see about that. Round 3, again, this is going to be where we're starting to talk a little bit less about each player. Kavon Walker out of Maryland, that is a lot of seasoning. And I mean, he's pretty old. So, again, I'm getting a little bit worried, but you're getting an impact player who's going to be somebody with a lot of experience. That's good. I would probably give that one maybe a B-. I don't see much upside. Tampa Bay Bandits getting Michael Scott. I don't care about what he did, but that's an A+. Regardless, 4.5 sacks, 2 seasons, not great, but the name is great. So let's go A+ on that one. Then you got Gus Cumberlander. That's going to be also an A+ for me for that name. We'll talk about some guys in here. Texas Tech edges, Samford edges. Like, I'm very surprised. I love Georgia Tech edges, though. I do. So Arnie St. Amour, I think that's going to be a good one. Also, just kind of feels like a guy who should be in New Orleans. So, yeah, Georgia Tech guys, I really like that. So then you guys can see all these other players. We got some other edges and defensive ends here. These guys are going to be more of the kind of backups and the rotational guys. So let's look at offensive tackles. Of course, you go after Tennessee State's offensive tackle. I believe he played with the Kansas City Chiefs or something for a little while, Chidi Okike, and I think that's going to be a solid selection. I like Cincinnati. They do train their offensive linemen well enough to be able to be at least NFL quality. So Birmingham's been doing a good job. I've been liking what Pittsburgh and Birmingham have been doing overall. Houston Gamblers going after Villanova tackle. I mean, we'll see. Missouri tackles usually actually pan out pretty well. Paul Adams. So New Orleans gets another break. No pun intended. Well, I guess pun intended. But yeah, I think that's a solid one. Colorado State. I'm just really worried about this Michigan Panthers team. I am. And I'm very excited to see them prove me wrong, but I'm a little bit worried. New Jersey Generals getting ECU. I like ECU linemen, funnily enough. So I think the ceiling is up there, but we'll see what happens. Then you got Philadelphia getting a South Carolina. I like that. South Carolina knows how to train their offensive linemen. So big fan of that. And he went to he's been on the Chargers. So he at least has gotten some NFL training as well. And then Tyler Catalina out of Georgia. Let's go. So Tampa Bay, I'm getting to be a pretty big fan of Tampa Bay. So then they also got a BYU tackle. Yeah. So Tampa Bay right now is going to be my team. They're probably going to suck too. That's the crazy part. But when you get a BYU offensive lineman as well as a Georgia, that's a pretty good floor for you. Philadelphia getting Louisiana Tech, man. Philadelphia and Tampa Bay, those two teams, I might be rooting for them quite a bit, as well as New Orleans. I'm liking quite a few of these teams. New Jersey getting an Auburn tackle. I dig that as well. And you got a 5-star. So look at that. He just came out. Like, that is awesome. I'm giving that an A++. That's my favorite pick so far, apart from in the first round. Like, when you get an Auburn 5-star as a guy in this, like, yes. I don't care how crap he is. You're getting somebody with a good amount of technical coaching and a very good high school base. You got New Mexico again, Michigan Panthers, man. I'm telling you, that's gonna be my team. I'm gonna bag on, or else people are gonna bag on me for. Already talked about this. I like Minnesota's offensive line development. I think that for like UDFA players, which is perfect for USFL, it's a good target to go after because they're a very run heavy team, as well as they're very pro style. If you see how obviously Tanner Morgan is their quarterback right now, he does at least anticipatory throws. So Big fan of that. You got a Texas A&M tackle. That's a 50-50 shot. And honestly, it's number 6. I would not mind it at all. Birmingham Stallions going Louisiana Tech. You guys know me. I love Louisiana Tech players. So that's good. And same thing with Pittsburgh getting a Clemson offensive tackle as well. I would just be very worried about how old this man is. Very worried because I don't see much of his CFL career. So we'll see about it. Then they get a guy from Youngstown State, which they better have done their research because I have no idea. Justin Powers out of UAB. I do like UAB offensive lineman, so I dig it. Richmond offensive line. Was it Houston? I thought it was Pittsburgh that got Kyle Lauletta. I'm a little bit confused on that one, but that'd be kind of cool to have the Richmond reunion, but not going to happen. Honestly, Richmond offensive lineman, I'm a little bit worried about FCS guys for the most part. New Orleans gets a West Virginia lineman. I do like that. Same thing with the UTSA. Finally, Michigan Panthers doing something right. I dig it. New Jersey Generals getting San Diego State. That's kind of weird. I don't like that one actually. And then you got a Baylor tackle. Baylor's known to develop good offensive linemen at this point. Probably not back then though. Michigan. Funnily enough, Michigan didn't get a Michigan offensive lineman. And then you got interesting. So we got some compensatory picks. And Birmingham's going up and trying to get extra offensive linemen. So I dig it. So yeah, you guys can check out the rest of this. Actually, hold up. We got cornerbacks here. Man, this draft is so weird. You got a high-end corner out of Colorado. Interesting. That would not be the guy. I would not go after a Colorado corner first off, but I'd rather go after someone like a Michigan corner. So good job for Philadelphia, but honestly, we'll see. Devontae Bosby. Oh, wow. Cheers to New Jersey for doing that. I think that he'd be a good one. He's going to be a good corner in the league. Michigan getting a Maryland corner, I dig it. They actually have some really good talent there usually, so I'm sure that he's gone up against some good players over his career. Adonis, I've heard of him, and he's from VT. I love it. Houston, I'm getting a little bit worried. UConn corners, I don't vibe with. Utah corners, I do, though, so good job to Birmingham. And USC corners, I dig it. So, I don't think I'm going to comment on anything else. I'm just going to let you guys scroll through this. If anything pops up to me, I'm going to talk about it. But I just wanted to roll through this because I'm very excited. I want to get acquainted with the rosters myself before I got into all this crazy stuff that's going to be happening soon with the USFL in April. So yeah, once the NFL draft's over, we finally have something fun and new content generation to get after. So very excited for that. And then actually, you know what? We can talk about this. Oh, Josh Love. Wow. I remember hearing about him out of San Jose State. So that's a really good one. Zach Smith. Ooh, I remember him too out of Tulsa. I think these guys were honestly better than some of the first round guys. But Jamar, so Louisiana Tech. Ooh, I actually like, man, I'm actually quite liking the backup quarterbacks. And the Stars, Bandits, and Panthers, I think, gave up their picks for compensatories. But honestly, I really like it. So that's going to be day one, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Honestly, I'm actually quite excited because we finally get football back, right? So thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys on the far side. Peace.